I want to do a comparison between a couple of first generation Lakewood HV fans and a third generation. Now these two are both HV18s. This third generation is an SPC LT18. It's really the same thing as the HV18, except instead of having the radial spokes, it has the spiral grill just like the first generation ones do. I got a second gen HV18 right there, and then a third gen industrial commercial version. That's the radial spoke grill that I'm talking about, that the HV18s have in the later generations. And then there's another second gen right there. One thing that's important to note is there was also a second gen version of the SPC LT18. It had that motor housing and that badge on the front of it. But yeah, it was that style of grill. But I want to compare the SPC LT18 to these because they have the same style grill. That one right there, that first generation, has a Westinghouse 5 amp shaded pull motor. This one has a General Electric 5 amp shaded pull motor. And the third generation has a Macmillan 2.4 amp PSC motor. So this one is not shaded pull like the older ones. These are all USA made fans and they're all incredibly powerful. That one, I don't think it's any less powerful than the first generation ones. They're all great. This one is just obviously more efficient because it's got a PSC motor. It's still very, very powerful. So I'm going to compare these when they're running. The GE motor and the Westinghouse motor, they both spin at the same speeds, so there's not a huge difference. I believe the power draw is a little different between the two on the various speeds, so I'll compare those two and then we'll compare it to the newest, the newer Lakewood, not the newest one, but I think this one's from 1996. Let's see. Oh, it's not going to focus, but yeah, it's from 1996. And if you're wondering what the build quality is like, they're all very, very sturdy like you would expect out of a Lakewood fan. And they all have nice long grounded cords. This is the one on the third generation. It's very long. And then these first gens have a long cord as well. So let's start with the General Electric powered HV18. We'll go to high speed. 3.84 on high, 298 watts. Low power factor because it's shaded pull, but it's very, very powerful. Go down to medium. And now we're at 2.75 amps and 228 watts. And then here's low. A little bit of a vibration from the grill. 2.57 amps, 216 watts, 217. One thing, these first generation ones, the one with the Westinghouse and the GE, they both spin faster on low speed than the third gens, and even the second gens with the Macmillan motors. Yep, this motor has oil ports on the back and the front. And I just gave it some oil a little while ago. I like to really over oil my motors just so they stay nice and free and last a long time. let's take a look at the amp draw when this thing is coming up to high speed. It's pretty impressive how much power this thing draws. And here's the version with the Westinghouse motor. Also shaded pull. Oil ports as well. Start it up on high. Just about 4 amps on high, 301 watts. Power factor. Medium. .86 amps, 231 watts. And there's low. 2.69 amps, 218 watts. And you know, even though these don't spin the slowest on low speed, they're still not very loud because the blades kind of overlap. I'll let it coast to a stop, and then we'll check the amp draw coming up to high speed. This is another one that is pretty impressive with the amount of power it uses coming up to speed. Alright, here's high. And here's the third generation. As you can see, rather than just clipping together, this one has screws to hold the grill together. And usually I don't like screws on these fans, but these are pretty big and they're high quality, so it's fine. This is a very sturdy fan. 2.4 amp Macmillan PSC motor. There's the capacitor right there. And it's got the switch on top. The radial spoke grill versions also have the switch on top for the third generation. The second gen's switch is right there on this back housing. This generation came out in the 90s, and the first generation ones came out in the 70s. So it's pretty impressive that the quality lasted as long as it did. So let's go ahead and start this fan up on high. .34 amps, 238 watts. Power factor is higher than the other ones. And this is still incredibly powerful. I seriously don't think there is any reduction in power as far as air output is concerned with this one compared to those. I think it's just as powerful. A little medium. And we're now down to 1.65 amps, 186 watts. Power factor improved. Getting a little bit of a vibration on medium, and then there's low. .42 amps, 158 watts. And as you can tell, this one has a nice quiet low speed. Still pushing a nice strong breeze. I'd be willing to bet that those first gens are maybe a little bit more powerful on low speed just because they spin a little bit faster, but as far as high and medium are concerned, I think these are about equal. And the other second gen with the GE motor is right there. That one sitting there is a Patton U2 1872. Here's this one on low speed. Got oil ports just like the older ones. I'm gonna let it coast down. I don't think there's any difference in airflow between this style and then the ones with the radial spoke grill. I think they both move just as much air. Yes, this one is definitely oiled very well. Alright, let's go up to high speed. Okay, the blade set on this one is steel. I am not sure if the blade set on those, the first gens is steel or not. It may be aluminum. Matter of fact, I think it is, but yeah, this blade set that's on this third gen is steel. And that blade set on that second gen right there, that's also a steel blade set. It's pretty much exactly the same as the one in the third generations. Now this one right here, this is a slightly older second gen with a Samsung motor, and this has the same style of blade set that overlaps just like those first generation ones do, like that one and that one. So that's interesting. And just as a bonus, I wanted to include a third gen with the radial spokes. I do have a blue bladed chrome grill version of this, but I'm just going to use this one in this video. Pretty sure this one is from 1998. I don't know if it's going to focus. Yeah, it's from 1998. It's got the same 2.4 amp Macmillan PSC motor that that SPC LT18 has, and the other HV18s from this era. This is the industrial commercial version, so it's a different color. Blade set is steel, and it's got a different cord. It's not the flat style cord like the other ones. It's still grounded, but it's just a round cord. It's really the only difference between this and the regular HV18 is the cord style and the color. Everything else is the same. So let's start this one up on high. .251 watts, 2.39 amps. This is, yeah, it's very powerful. And there's medium. And it's vibrating a bit, and it's kind of moving. We're at 1.95 amps and 219 watts. And there's low. .6 amps on low, 178 watts. nice and quiet and smooth on low. And we'll let it coast, and then check the amp draw coming up to high, although I don't think it's going to really be much different than that one. Okay, now we can go up to high speed. Here's one of the earlier second gens. This is the one with the Samsung motor. It's a 1.7 amp PSC motor. And as you can see, this one has the blade set where they overlap, just like the blade set on that first generation HV18. The hub on this blade set is exactly the same as the hub on those, so yeah. Alright, start this one up. This one is definitely the most efficient out of all of them, only using 1.7 amps. So let's start this one up. .6 amps on high, 180 watts, very good power factor, and it's extremely powerful. Let's go down to medium. .39, 167 watts. Perfect power factor on medium. And low. This has a nice quiet low speed just like the Macmillan motors do. .36 amps, 163 watts. Just about perfect power factor. Yeah, there it goes. And this will take a while to stop. This motor has a very long spin down time. I'm not going to bother showing the second gen with the Macmillan motor because it's just another 2.4 amp motor like what that one has and like the black commercial grade version that I showed. And it's got exactly the same blade set as that one and the industrial commercial one. And let's see what our amp draw is coming up to high speed. And that'll do it. Thanks for watching. And just so you can see the difference between the blade sets, this one has the newer style blade set that third gen right there has, and that one has.